All right. Yo, what's good, everybody? It is your boy Lincoln Clay coming back at you. You know what to do. Hit the bell icon, hit the like button, blase, whoop de whoop, all that good stuff. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. And just got home, doing some running around, errands, taking my mother to a couple of spots so she could take care of some business, all that good stuff. But first of all, Lay, yo, what's up? I hope you spent all that money in one place. Far as that goes, yeah. You weren't the only one, late. During that giveaway, you and Alabama Jones were supposed to get $30 cards, and I couldn't find any $10 cards. There was only $25 cards and $50 cards. And I would have felt like shit getting a $25 card. Like, here, I know I told you 30, but here, take 25. No, I'm not that type of person. I'd rather give you too much than shortchange you. So that's why you and Alabama Jones both got $50 cards. And J Dog, he was supposed to get $60, but same deal. I couldn't find the right cards. They just didn't have $10 cards. So that threw a monkey wrench in that. So I gave him $75. But hey, it's all worth it though, because I definitely appreciate everybody supporting the channel. So I feel like it was money well spent. I appreciate everybody that supports this channel. Mr. Pie, I'm doing pretty good. Skip Bayless, what is going on? And H Player, what's going on with you? So, I think I forgot to do it yesterday, but I definitely want to give a shout out to Craig Harris, Anthony of 365, Sick Humor. Between those three, I had enough content to watch today that kept me busy. Skip Bayless, you say Crap Gamer is pissed. Yeah. I said it before and I said it and I'll say it again. Both him and Musclebound Gamer are a couple of frauds. I've seen a couple of Musclebound Gamers videos, and he may be speaking the truth, but we already know as soon as the next generation starts up and the score is 0-0 and Microsoft starts up with their smear campaign again, they're going to jump right back over to the Xbox side with the toxic shit and their lies. So, they both a couple of frauds. Mr. Pyle, you said, why are people so critical, negative about Days Gone? They hold this. I know what you're trying to say right there. They hold this game to an extreme high standard. To me, first of all, Sony, we already know the past couple of years, basically this generation, Sony has put out some amazing games. And I think they continue to exceed the expected Metacritic scores, despite attempted sabotage, from the American media, along with the Xbots. Don't call me Danny. What's up? And just what was it on Sunday when we were on the PlayStation Legion with JTech? He was asking us. He said, "What do you think it's going to get for a Metacritic score?" And I told him, I said it's going to get at least a 95. I mean, 85. I said it's going to get somewhere between an 85 and a 90. He thought it was going to get a 79, not because of whether he thought it was going to be a bad game or not. He just thought the sabotage from the media was going to knock the score down that much. And I said, hey, my thought was that I think it's going to be a great game. Secondly, Sony hasn't put out a major hit since Spider-Man. So I know that people who have a PlayStation is starving for something to play. We're going to get it in a few days. And I think that starvation of not having a game to play since Spider-Man in a game that looks pretty good, I don't think the media was going to be able to stop this game. I mean, hell, they tried it. They tried it with other games. They just cannot stop these compelling exclusives that Sony puts out. Now JTech posted it in he posted it in Twitter. Then it got an 85. Saris is great. What is up? But and see the crazy part about this fucked up as bias discrimination, well, yeah, discrimination. You talk about Sony, if they get a game this 80 or lower, the Xbox act like this game is trash. But if an Xbox game gets a 66, they act like it's an amazing game. And the truth be told, this podcast today, it wasn't even about the Days Gone. I mean, Sony faces so much motherfucking media bias and so much attempted sabotage from the Xbox. It's like it's almost like in one ear and out the other these days. I mean, I probably say every day that Microsoft, God knows how many lies they tell. Every day that Microsoft tells a lie, Sony faces, for as many times that Microsoft has lied, that's how many times Sony has had to deal with some kind of bullshit. And so yesterday, I was listening. Well, it was today actually. I was listening to the replay of Sick Humor's podcast today, and he touched on something. He talked about the censorship thing. And long story short, he said, because of the bullshit that Sony has to face, Sony took the lesser of the two medicines. Because if they would have not censored that ass, people would have been all over them. SJWs would have been all over them. But by them censoring it, now they're facing this kind of backlash. And I was having that same conversation in Twitter amongst our groups, amongst our private groups. And I was telling them, and I said this on more than one occasion, Sony censored that ass because Sony is being extra careful, because I said it before, America does not like foreigners prospering on American soil. So it's like Sony has to be careful about what they do, because I dare say that if Sony would have been even more egregious than Microsoft, they might have been out of business. And it's like Microsoft does some egregious shit. It either gets swept under the rug or the backlash disappears quickly. But if Sony, God forbid, if PSN goes down for 10 minutes or some kind of shit like that, the backlash that they face is just crazy. And so, as I was saying, that Sony is, despite the success they have, they know what they're dealing with. They know they are successful in a land that does not want to see them succeed here. So they are dealing with numerous obstacles. Support Gaming, what's going on? Bad to the Bone, you said it seems like a double standard. I don't know about that. I mean, if you're talking about it from the Xbox standpoint, yeah. I mean, Microsoft is great, Sony's bad, and the American media jumps right on with that shit. So with Sony, they are dealing with the competition, which is Microsoft, which has proven to be a ruthless, cutthroat company. I think they are dealing with an American public who has been brainwashed into disliking Sony, because Microsoft, in my opinion, uses American hate to smear Sony, and they disguise that American hate as patriotism to get the American public to dislike Sony while talking up their own product. because every time Microsoft talks up their own product, they can't do it without saying something negative about Sony. They can't sell their shit on its own merit of whether it's good or not. Hold on 1 second, folks. All right. The real Carlos Fernandez. How are you doing, my friend? As I was saying, Microsoft is dealing with a ruthless company for a competitor. They're dealing with an American public that can easily be swayed against them. And then looming outside of all of that is the SJWs. I mean, those are three, as far as I'm concerned, entities that Sony has to deal with. So they have to be extra, extra careful what they do over here. And they know that. Sony could probably do anything they want in Japan and it ain't going to be any backlash. But they can't do what they want here. And Sony is successful over here because they offer us more value for our money. And I think less egregious shit. Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna holler at that Days Gone, Carlos. I mean, as I was saying in my podcast yesterday, with the exception of games like MLB The Show, Days Gone, and other Sony exclusives, I'm pretty much done with flat screen games, at least third-party games. I'm done with them. So what we got here? Christopher Hart. Every time Sony makes advances, the Xbox community comes up with a new reason to call Sony out. And now with censoring, people deserve a huge backhand slap. I mean, so, and then, you know what the crazy part about the censorship thing is? They censored that ass crack so they wouldn't be accused of objectifying women. But American women is quick to throw their asses out. I mean, now that it's springtime, I don't care what town you in. It's happening all over America. Shit, now that the weather's getting warm, it's yoga pants everywhere. Yoga pants and low cut shirts with titties damn near falling out. I mean, like shit, I went to the mall Saturday and it felt like a midnight release at GameStop because it was yoga pants and titties falling out everywhere. And it had that atmosphere of, because of the snow, everybody was waiting outside. And then at midnight, they unlocked the door. Or I'll say in this case, at noon, they unlocked the door. Come on in. It's spring. Now everybody taking off half their damn clothes and walking around, with they shit falling out. But yet, you gotta have SJWs and other feminist groups acting like we pigs for objectifying women and shit. When they go out of their way, to get looked at, because too many women put too much stock in the way they look. The more beautiful they are, the more they want attention, and the more entitled some of them feel in some cases. But you couldn't have somebody like Sony doing that, because they would have faced a lot of backlash. That's really fucked up. But that's not even why I'm having this podcast. There was 2 articles today at N4G that I was like, oh my God, when does this shit ever end? I'm gonna read them both to you. Said them yeeks be on point over here in the trains, and that's all I can say. I mean, men don't have to objectify women. A lot of women here do it themselves. Aaron Drake, you said women are or objectified every day. They might as well be Muslim, cover up, or completely just show their eyes. Um, you know, but the thing about it is, now that this spring, you've seen a lot of people, you see a lot of women wearing some revealing clothes. But if we pigs if we make a comment about it. And so this, this situation with Sony, they had no choice. They, in my opinion, they made the right move by censoring that ass crack. Because feminist groups and SJWs, they not going anywhere. Because for one thing, nobody's trying to shut them down. But that's about as far as I'm going, go with that. I'm just pointing out that, so I spent too much time talking about SJWs and women and all this kind of shit. All I'm saying is I agree with Sick Humor that I think Sony chose the lesser of the two medicines by choosing to censor that butt. I could care less. I mean, if you want to see a butt that bad, go watch a porn movie or something like that. What people gonna cry for because it wasn't in the game or because it was censored, smudged out, blurred out, whatever the case. Hey, you hit it right on the head right there, Carlos. 90% of the times they do, my brother, but there's levels to attract people without calling for attention with what you wear. Hey, Carlos, you know what I think is the sexiest woman in the world? The career woman, the woman that wears that white blouse, a skirt down to the knees, and like medium-sized heels. That career woman, that business woman, I think that's the sexiest woman on the planet. To me, that's a woman who got her goals in order. That's a woman that's got respect for herself. I think the career woman I think that's the sexiest woman on the planet. But moving on, so let's talk about why I feel the media is biased towards Sony. I'm just pointing out that Sony over here in North America, Sony dealing with obstacles at every turn. They have to continue to be careful, especially when the next generation starts up. They really have to be careful until they can separate themselves from Microsoft. When a new generation starts and the score is 0-0, the smear campaigns are going to start again. They're going to throw every piece of shit at Sony that they can think of. Microsoft is going to pull that shit again. Microsoft is going to talk shit about Sony. They're going to try to get the American public to rebel against Sony and not buy their shit while continuing to sell you garbage. But Sony is going to continue to do what they do and give you value for your money and give you high budget, quality, AAA exclusives that you can't get anywhere else. Fatal Mephisto, the Canadian Grizzly Bear, what's up? Christopher Hardy, even though I've been reading your comments, I don't know if I officially said what's up to you. So what's going on? Hey, Mr. Pyle, I haven't even got to why I'm even having this podcast. So on my lunch break today, instead of listening to podcasts, I read. So I went to N4G to read some articles on my lunch break. And I saw, lo and behold, a Forbes article. Let me go to what this title says. It was like, if this is the PS5 launch price, the PS5 will be in trouble. And this is a Forbes article, which we know caters towards millionaires and billionaires, especially American ones. So, So let me share my screen with you. You know, this article is probably about probably one, two, three, four, five paragraphs. So I think I can get through this paragraph. You know, if I fly right through it, I can read it in about a minute. But I'm gonna share. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you guys and show you this article. You can come back and check the comments first before I do that. Said Lady Legend, huge shout out to my Xbox Nation. All right, if you say so. Yeah, you're right. Xbox is washed up, Carlos. Ice Queen Gaming, Dawn, how are you? Okay, so let me share my screen and go over to this article. In the next article, after I get done reading this article and I get ready to go on to the next article, that article is going to blow your mind. But here we go. You see here, share. Let me zoom in a little bit. One more time. All right. So right there, if this is the PS5's launch price, the PS5 will be in trouble. Let's go ahead and read this article a little bit. Let me get that out of the way real quick. Huge, unexpected news out of the video game industry today. Sony has officially revealed the PS5, or not the PS5, not officially, just Sony's next generation console, which is how Mark Cerny is referring to it in this exclusive Wired story, outlining the first details that the company is willing to share about the new machine. And there's some juicy, interesting details, things like an SSD, ray tracing, backwards compatibility, and a disk drive. This is all great, particularly the SSD. But there's one number that I'm not seeing, likely because it is not finalized yet, and is by far the most important number of the bunch, the price. Okay. A curiously timed, wholly unconfirmed leak the other day appeared to drop a ton of information about Sony's upcoming console. At the time, there was so much information that it seemed incredulous based on that alone. The leaker claimed to be a dev working on a PS5 title, giving us specs, details, and even the launch lineup. Now that the console has been partially revealed, however, we can see that the leaker got some things right, such as backwards compatibility, 8K graphics, AMD Navi GPU, and support for physical media. Even with that, we should remember the leak should be taken with a heaping of salt. A lot of details that the leaker got right are the sort of things that wouldn't be too hard to guess, or the sort of things that basically were going to go one way or the other. The leaker was wrong on the SSD count, which is a big thing. Okay, whatever. Still, this leak now goes one notch up on the credibility scale, which means it's time to examine some other parts of the leak. And one of them concerns that all-important number, predicting that the price will land at $499, the same price as the Xbox One at launch, and $100 more expensive than the PS4. This might be the price necessary to get all that hardware in there, but it's a dangerous price indeed, particularly if the competition figures out how to get in underneath. Let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. He said that's a dangerous price. How? Particularly if the competition figures out how to get in underneath. Does anybody in here really think, okay, look, let's get back to these rumors, right? People are speculating that the PS5 is going to be somewhere between like 11 and 13 teraflops. Lo and behold, I already knew that when Sony came out, when Mark Cerny did that interview and gave us a little bit of juicy details about the PS5, I already knew that it was going to set the internet and set YouTube on fire. And they did it on the day that Xbox Inside Xbox came out. So I knew it was going to disrupt that the airing of the streaming of Inside Xbox. So I knew, as damage control, Microsoft was going to respond, and they did it just like clockwork. They supposedly responded, and they still claim that Anaconda is going to be more powerful than the PlayStation 5. And then there was even rumors coming out that Xbox Anaconda may cost $600. So let's start there. Why is the PS5 costing $500 a a dangerous move, but nobody's saying shit about the rumors about the Anaconda costing $600. If you can speculate on a rumor about the PS5 being $500, then you can speculate on the rumor about the Xbox Anaconda costing $600. If you can speculate that this is a dangerous move for Sony, then why can't you speculate that that would be an even more dangerous move for Microsoft? Let's move on. The PS4 won the last generation for a ton of reasons, not the least of which was Microsoft's utter flubbering of its messaging throughout the entire of the run-up of the Xbox One launch. But at the end of the day, I can't imagine that the biggest factor wasn't the price. The PS4 and Xbox One, ultimately similar machines, but the PS4 was $100 cheaper. In that situation, the cheaper option is just bound to win. Let's stop right there. According to the Xbox, that $100 isn't why the PS4 won this generation. According to the Xbox, it won this generation because the base PS4 had more power than the base Xbox One. So according to the Xbox, this article's got it all wrong. Price had nothing to do with why Sony jumped out of the blocks. The Xbox mentioned nothing about price as to why Sony got the jump on them. It was everything but the price. It was they reluctantly admitted that Microsoft screwed up with the DRM management. They blamed it on the power narrative. Even though when it was confirmed that the PS4 had more power than the base Xbox One, you still had the Xbox. Actually, they were crying that Sony had no games. It was calling it the indie station. All right. Let's move on. Again, $499 is 100% unconfirmed, and the price is likely not finalized. But Sony doesn't have massive sources of revenue to subsidize a larger loss like Microsoft does, and SSDs are expensive. I expect price competition to be even fiercer this generation as streaming services begin to lower the barrier for a certain kind of console experience, and as Xbox seems ready to release a lower price entry-level console along with whatever will be considered the genuine competition for the PS5. Microsoft is also moving hard on its subscription services in order to produce more ongoing revenue for Xbox users. Which means that the company might be willing to take a slightly steeper loss and hope to make up for it with Game Pass and Gold subscriptions. Wait a minute. Last time I checked, Microsoft released a Xbox with no disc in it for even more money than what a lot of Xboxes are going for right now. We've seen a number of Xbox One bundles from a number of retailers. Xbox One with NBA 2K, with Battlefield 5, just to name a couple. And we've seen these bundles for $250 or less. And the Xbox One S that is featured in this bundle has a disc drive. But yet, we're getting a discless Xbox that's being sold for the same price and with 3 games that are, in my opinion, are useless. Sea of Thieves is trash. Who the fuck plays Minecraft anymore? And then Forza 3 Horizon, that's a trap. They're hoping to get you hooked on Forza Horizon 3, and then you'll pay to upgrade to Forza Horizon 4. I don't know how that looks like. I don't know how that looks like. Subsidizing a loss. You took shit out of the console, and it still costs the same. So how the fuck are they subsidizing a loss? I said it before, and I'll say it again. With that, with no disk drive, Microsoft saves money on materials, labor to put the shit in there, and paying Sony, a licensing fee to use this shit. So how the fuck is it still $250? Where are they taking a loss? So, and then the big part of all this. So let me go ahead and come on back to you guys. Lay Legends, I see you in here trolling, but you comical, so you can stay. Now, if memory serves me right, when the Xbox One was featured at E3 2016 and the price was announced at 499 US dollars, some people thought that was ridiculous. But the media was the ones that jumped up and said that you are getting a great deal with the Xbox One X because just the graphics card alone inside that console is worth the cost of the console. Oh, but no, now you got Sony coming out with a console that may have double the power of the Xbox One X. But if it gets sold for the same price, that's a bad thing. They make it sound like that could jeopardize Sony's existence. That $500 price tag is not going to affect Sony at all. Because for one thing, let's take a look at the narratives. Let's take a look at what both Microsoft and Sony are going to be bringing to the table at the start of the next generation. Sony is going to be bringing that console, and so is Microsoft, but we know that Sony's going to have the better games. Microsoft already told you what their roadmap is. They put together a team of bootleg developers with the intentions of putting out bootleg games. They formed the initiative, which was supposed to be a quadruple A studio. They got demoted. They went from the major leagues to double A ball. They got demoted from being a quadruple A studio to an indie studio, supposedly in the name of trying to put games out faster. So these same two consoles that's going to come out, PS5 and Anaconda, might have identical specs, but which one appears to is going to have the better content? Not to mention that there's no guarantee that Anaconda is going to cost $500. It might cost $600. No, Coon, $499 isn't bad. And Six said it best. He would rather them price it at $499 so we can get a great console rather than price it at $400 and take shortcuts. But that's funny though. The media seems to think that the Xbox One X was a great buy at $500. But they act like Sony selling the PS5 at $500 could have disastrous results. PS4 has no good first-person shooter games, though. Yeah, that may be true. But hey, I think Super Lucky's Tale sounds like a pretty compelling title over on the Xbox. Crackdown 3, really shook the world up. Crackdown 3 left a huge crater on the planet. Crackdown 3 was earth-shattering. Oh no, let's not talk about that State of Decay and those frame drops and the rubber banding and people dropping into the ground and dropping through the ceilings. What a game that State of Decay was. Oh, and Sea of Thieves. Did you see the water? Have you seen the water? Wow. You're right. PS4 doesn't have any good first-person shooter games. The one named Shadow, you very well could be right that the next Xbox could be $600. The difference is the media is not going to criticize Microsoft for that price tag. PlayStation Ghoul, how are you? Personally, I like Killzone. I didn't care for Killzone 3, but I did love Killzone 2. And Killzone Shadowfall, I'm not going to lie. I bought the game. The story started out slow, almost got rid of it. I stuck with it, and I ended up loving the game. I think it ended up having a great story. and the multiplayer was phenomenal. And Killzone Shadowfall, even though that is a launch title for the PS4, still looks better than most of the Xbox exclusives that they put out this generation. You know, I know Killzone wasn't for everybody, but I think it was a good game. So now let's move on to the next part of why I said that I think that the media is biased towards Sony. Let's move on to this second one. Let's move on to the second one. And I'm not even gonna tell you what this next article says. I'm just gonna show it to you, and then I'm gonna read it to you. So let's go back. Share the screen. Look at that. Hold on. Let me zoom in on this. I want to make sure y'all see this. 5 reasons why you should buy the Xbox One S all digital. Oh my God. Oh my God. I also found this article at N4G. But hey, let's get on with it. Let's talk about the 5 reasons why you should buy this Xbox One S all digital. All right. As we move into April, we get closer and closer to the official debut of the long-awaited diskless edition of the Xbox One S console. That's a mouthful. A console system without a disk drive may sound like a bad idea at a glance, but I think it actually makes quite a bit of sense once you consider the direction that the Xbox brand has been headed towards in recent years. Here are 5 reasons why you may find an all-digital Xbox One console to be a valuable purchase. Number 1, more affordable Xbox. Wow. More affordable. Wow. Wow. More affordable. Last I checked, this shit was $250 with 3 garbage ass games that came with it. All right, let's see what their reasoning is as to why. Look at that right there. Oh, these amazing pictures that they show of this beautiful console. Let's move on and see. Here, let me stay at the bottom. One of the key benefits of going digital only with the new console is that it will cost less money than if you were to buy a normal Xbox One S. No disk drive means a lower manufacturing cost, which will result in a lower price. It's unknown as of right now how much less this version of the Xbox One will be, but it's likely that it will be a solid amount. This makes the console fantastic for new people who are looking to bring the Xbox One ecosystem into their homes. You know, I said it before this shit even came out that the lower manufacturing costs. Well, now that we know what's going on with this thing, it didn't cost you anything to develop it. So there were no development costs. That saved you money right there. You're removing the disk drive itself. So you're saving money from removing the hardware. There's another savings right there. And then another savings is that you're not paying Sony for using this Blu-ray technology. So that's 3 categories where they save money, but yet they still price this shit at $250. Microsoft just seems to they just cannot get enough of overpricing these consoles. And so going back to the other article that I talked about nobody had a problem with the Xbox One X. At least the media didn't have a problem with that costing $500. Microsoft just cannot seem to get enough of $500. Cha-ching! That must be what $500 sounds like, because the standard Xbox One was $500 because they forced you to take that Kinect, which is utterly useless now if you still have it. They charge $500 for the Xbox One X. I've seen it retailed at Best Buy, depending on what you buy, for $400, but for the most part, it still retails for $500. And they even had the nerve to put out a Minecraft edition Xbox One S for $400. Are you kidding me? Just a minute. It's getting hot in the motherfucker in here. Let me circulate some air in this bitch. Some motherfucking air going on in here. All right. Let's move on to the next reason. I believe this is reason number 2. Built for Xbox Game Pass. Another big reason why you might like the all-digital Xbox One S is that it is perfect for people planning to use Xbox Game Pass, which is Microsoft's revolutionary, stop right there, Microsoft's revolutionary subscription service. Revolutionary? To me, revolutionary means you came up with it first and it was a big hit with everybody. No, they did not come up with the subscription service first. Subscriptions and services have been around forever. Go all the way back to the Sega Channel. Back when we were still using dial-up internet. Revolutionary subscription service? And I suppose combining Game Pass as well as Xbox Live for $15 a month was revolutionary too. A disguise, a smokescreen for, I guess, what Microsoft probably views as naive people going to buy this shit. So, again, Microsoft's revolutionary subscription service that allows people to play over 200 games digitally as much as they want for just $10 a month. If you see yourself utilizing Xbox Game Pass for most or all of your gaming, then this console is perfect companion to it. Not only do you save money by using Xbox Game Pass, but you also save money by buying this console. It's a win-win. If that's not going hard in the paint for this ruthless ass company, I don't know what is. That is caping. That is hardcore caping for this company. You save money by buying this console. It's a win-win. Let's see here. The next reason why you should buy the Xbox One S all digital is because digital only is convenient. And they have a nice Xbox controller here, along with a physical copy of Fallout 76. That seems like an oxymoron to me right there. God damn. It got me about to... Shit. Yeah, it says right there, physical case for Fallout 76. No shit. Thanks for pointing that out. So, this physical case for Fallout 76, I'm guessing this is some sort of advertisement. They're advertising the physical disc for discless Xbox. Again, that seems like an oxymoron to me. Oh, shit. Okay. Let's move on. While plenty of people like collecting shelves of physical copies of games, that's not something everyone is into. Going all digital with your games is a great way to keep your living spaces less cluttered and all of your titles in one place on your console library. By cutting the disc, you no longer have to worry about losing any of your games or any of the discs wearing out. Last time I checked, it takes years for a disc to wear out. First of all, let me tell you one thing about the disc. When the compact disc first came out, its selling point was that you could play it over and over and over again, and the music quality will not wear down, unlike a cassette tape. The quality will be the same every time you play it, no matter how many times you play it. And then the other selling point of the compact disc when it first came out is that you could scratch the fuck out of the disc and it will still play. It will not skip. But somewhere in the industry, somebody must have discovered that if people scratch the fuck out of this disc and it still plays, they won't have a reason to buy another one. So somewhere along the way, the formula changed. So now with, like, before everything with digital with music CDs, if you even sneeze on them wrong, you scratch the fuck out of them. To me, that was another American tactic of programming something to fail so you would eventually have to replace it. But as far as this goes, you keep your living spaces less cluttered, all your titles in one place, and by cutting the disc, you no longer have to worry about losing any of your games or the disc wearing out. Seems to me like you can still do all that with a console that has a disc drive. Last time I checked, you can put digital games on a console that has a disc drive. As a matter of fact, the physical copy is an insurance policy. If anything happens to your games on that console, you can plop the physical disc back in there and download it again, and it will download back into the console. And not only that, it does not affect your data cap. So even though I buy a lot of digital, I still feel like a physical disc, you have something in your hand that you own. It is insurance in case your memory gets wiped out or something on your console. It is your backup. Now, oh my God, let's look at this one. Look at this next one. Amazing for travel. Oh my God. An all digital Xbox One S would also be perfect for people that like to take their consoles with them during long business trips or other outings into the world. What other outings? As it would completely eliminate the need to take physical games with you. That would save you a ton of space in your luggage and bags, and will make it so that you could take your entire game library with you to the hotel and not just a handful of titles. The only other physical thing you'd have to take alongside your console is a controller. Again, that seems like something that you can do with a console that has a disc drive. In fact, if you're getting ready to go on a business trip, you would probably go through your physical library and say, hey, I think I want to play this game, but it's not downloaded into my Xbox. Let me plop it into the Xbox and download it in there, close the disc up, and put it back in the closet or the shelf, wherever you keep it at. Wow. They make this shit sound like anything that you can do with the Xbox One S all digital, you can't do it on a console that has a disc drive. Are you fucking kidding me? They must think they talking to 3-year-olds. Less risk of damage. That is another reason to buy an all digital console. And look at that. There is another amazing picture of this all digital console, complete with the eject button for no disc slot. Last, but certainly not least, the lack of disk drives would eliminate a lot of potential damage risk to your console. This is especially true for parents of small children. A regular Xbox One S may not survive a cookie jammed into its disk drive, but that's not a concern with this all-new digital device. As a bonus, You won't have to worry about your console needing any repairs for disc reading either, since all you need is a connection to the internet in order to start playing. Well, last time I checked, if you give kids enough time to destroy something, they will find more than one way to do it. So if they cannot destroy that console by way of shoving a cookie into the disk drive, they will resort to other means to destroy it. As a bonus, you won't have to worry about your console needing any repairs for disc reading either. In this day and age, especially that trash ass Xbox One S, especially me, like take me for instance, if the disk drive goes out on my Xbox One S, so fucking what? I haven't bought a disc in a long time. The only physical disc I have in the first place is Rainbow Six. Everything else is digital because I share them with my son. So if the disk drive takes a crap, so fucking what? If I love the thing that much, I will get it fixed. What do you think of the upcoming all-digital Xbox One S console? Do you think it's a good idea? Are there any other reasons you're planning on getting one that I didn't mention? Make sure to let me know what you think down below. Of course, if you prefer having a disk drive, the regular Xbox One S is great. But in my opinion, that is only for a limited time because I believe that Microsoft has discontinued the Xbox One S with a disk drive. I think that's part of the reason why you are seeing a $250 price tag. They have discontinued the standard Xbox One S, and all those consoles that are sitting on retailers' shelves, once they're gone, that is it. And if you want to get into the Xbox ecosystem, minimum entry will be the Xbox One S all digital edition because there will be no more consoles with disk drives left. So I mean, if Microsoft would have came out with this all digital console at the beginning of the generation, see, when the Xbox One S came out, I believe it was it might have been $300, and retailers weren't lowering the prices yet. They started, you know how the cycle goes when a console first comes out. It doesn't have any games. Then the next move is to put bundles together, several different bundles, several different games. And then once that starts to fizzle out, then they finally start to lower the price. This late into the generation, you're coming out with this console, and it's supposed to be a more attractive option than the millions of Xbox One S's out there that's already out there with disk drives in them. If they would have done something like this at the beginning of the generation, and the Xbox One S would have cost $300, and they would have offered this at $200, it would have been a reasonable deal. We are this late into the generation. Anybody who wants an Xbox already has it. There aren't any people out there that's saying, yeah, I've been waiting for an Xbox. I've been wanting to get an Xbox for a while. I'm just waiting for it to get cheaper. No, anybody wanted one bad enough, they got it by now. Same thing with the PlayStation. But the difference is, well, I guess I can't compare it that way, because Sony is still giving you a reason. Sony's still giving people a reason to buy the PlayStation because it's still coming out with a whole heap of exclusives. The only games that we know that are confirmed this year for the Xbox is Gears of War 5, which is becoming a rinse and repeat game, and this indie ass look at Ori and the whatever the fuck it is, Will o' the Wisp. Shit, I mean, you still got a problem trying to sell all the fucking Xboxes, the standard Xbox One S's with disk drive that are sitting on retailers' shelves. You still got to worry about selling that shit before you come out and introduce your 98th console this generation. And at this moment, I think Xbox is the only gaming entity with more SKUs than games. Am I upset by, this shit? No, it's laughable. But it's still, that was the second part of me pointing out media bias. The $500 price tag for the PlayStation 5 could put it in jeopardy, according to this Forbes article. But yet they came up with 5 tremendous reasons why you should buy a console that took away its only selling point. Wow. This Xbox One fourth console SKU. So they put, so we got the standard Xbox, the Xbox One S, the Xbox One X, and now this all digital. Yes, you're right. It is the fourth Xbox this generation. With that being said, I really don't got much. I really don't have much after that. It's comical. Don't forget the controllers, Carlos. Shit, that's a given. Truth be told, the only console on either side that has remotely interested me was the translucent console, the translucent controller over on the PlayStation side when they had that commemorative translucent PS4 Pro to commemorate 500 million consoles sold to date. They also those were in limited quantities, but they were also offering the translucent DualShock 4 controller, which I was interested in that. If I could find one of those, I would get it. Arian Drake, Xbox with no disc drive, I'll pass. Don't feel like being sad and depressed with what I buy. Excuse me. Yeah, uncompetitive, Minecraft Edition, Battlefield Edition, Project Scorpio Edition. I mean, but I'm not really going to knock Microsoft for that because Sony does have done that too. The God of War Edition, Spider-Man, Spider-Man PS4 Pro. That they've done a number of custom bundles, whatever you want to call it. So I'm not going to knock Microsoft for that. I don't know who the fuck would buy the Minecraft edition because by the time they came out with that Minecraft edition Xbox One S, Minecraft had already been around for years. I just thought it was ridiculous for them to sell that shit for $400, but yet the base console was $300. That was crazy. The base Xbox One S was $300, but they were selling that Minecraft edition for $400. So, but yeah, that's all I got. Like I said, the shit's laughable. But I guess keep your eyes open, folks, and I guess the next thing we're going to see is you said the Minecraft edition was a collector's item. So was the God of War bundle. So was the God of War PS4 Pro. So was the Spider-Man PS4 Pro, but it still cost the same $400 as the standard PS4 Pro, unlike this Minecraft edition costing $400 against the stock $300 console. I mean, but that's what we got over here. It's, that's just how Microsoft roll. You know what? I forgot we got the roundtable tonight. So I definitely got to wrap this up here pretty soon and decide what am I going to do? Am I going to jump on the PlayStation VR? Am I going to jump on Oculus today? I took a power nap after I got done doing, all the shit I had to do yesterday because I went out and got those, those PSN cards and all that kind of stuff to award prizes. All prizes have been awarded. Everybody got this stuff. Cyber Dragon should get his copy of Red Dead Redemption by the end of the week. J Dog, Alabama Jones, and Lunkin, they all got their cards. So again, thank you everybody for supporting this channel. I really, really appreciate it. I can't say enough. Lil Tussin, you said let them have the power card. I'd like games, ones that take advantage of the hardware and not just the talking point. Every Sony exclusive on the PlayStation Pro looks better than anything Xbox has to offer. Not only do these exclusives on the PlayStation Pro look better than anything Microsoft has to offer, it looks better than the majority of third-party games. Said you said Players United. You said no, Lincoln Clay, the table is square. I'm a little lost as to that one. The OG Red Ranger, you said crap gamer is a traitor, treason at his finest. But hey, Sony should like what he's doing though, because that's free advertisement for them. Because not only is he talking up the PlayStation brand, he banging on Microsoft in the process. Shit, that's free, that's nonprofit work for Sony. Shit, they should love that. Him and Musclebound Gamer. For me, it's business as usual. I put in that nonprofit work for the PlayStation VR and Oculus. I mean, they should hire me, both of them. Shit, the way I've been putting in that nonprofit work, I should be the next PSVR Frank. Damn, that hour went fast though. I've been on for about an hour. That went fast. Emiris, what's going on? Damn it, I didn't plan on doing it as far as podcast goes. I didn't plan on doing anything else the rest of the week until we get to the weekend. When I do the Lincoln Show VR edition with a special guest Joystick Guru. So make sure you guys tune into that. My guess is it's going to be somewhere between noon and 2 p.m. I just got to hook up with him and get a solid time down. So make sure you check that out. That's going to be a pretty good podcast. Definitely got a lot of VR questions for him. So, Mod Razi, what's up? I didn't say what's up to you. Uncompetitive, what's going on? PLO, what's up? What's good? And Jamal King, I believe I said what's up to you, but if I didn't, hey, what's going on? OG Red Ranger, you said you're pretty chill. Lincoln Clay, hey, thanks, my friend. I appreciate it. I mean, to me, this was one of my lighter rants. I haven't gone full meltdown in quite a while. And a lot of that is probably because of pretty much because of my move to VR. The joy that I'm getting out of VR far outweighs the bullshit that's going on out there. A lot of people is hollering and screaming about the state of gaming right now, with third party releasing these broken games full of microtransactions, and then they patch this game up along the way. You know, they patch these games up along the way. Yeah, I said it before. You deal with a little bit of bullshit with VR games and stuff like that, but one thing that is like damn near non-existent is microtransactions in VR games. There's damn near no microtransactions in VR games. You know, don't forget that. You know, that's going to be another option next generation too. In addition to the PS5, that I think is going to be an amazing piece of hardware. They're going to add an amazing PSVR headset to go along with it. And myself, I don't know. Like I said it before that Sony, I felt like Microsoft didn't fuck with VR because of the slow start that Sony had. Tony Briscoe, what's going on? What's up, my man? Um, Again, that goes back to that drug money philosophy that I was talking about. I felt like Microsoft, they made a promise of high fidelity VR and backed out of this shit and didn't do it. And I think they backed out because of the slow start that Sony had with the PlayStation VR. But here we are about 2.5 years later, and Sony done made over $2 billion off of the PlayStation VR format. I mean, like Microsoft got to be kicking themselves in their ass that they let that money get away. Yeah, PLO VR is a nice vacation away from the BS and gaming nowadays. You know what? It is also a great way to get some aggression out of your system. When I'm mad and I want to beat the fuck out of somebody, what better way to do it than to jump in the creed and beat the shit out of somebody and talk trash? Which I know y'all like that shit. Support gaming. Xbox still waiting for VR. Phil Spencer, high fidelity VR. Yeah. You know what? I'm surprised Microsoft hasn't come out with a special edition Game Pass Xbox One S that simply says Game Pass on it. Excuse me, folks. Finishing my drink. So yeah, that was pretty comical, showing that shit 5 reasons to buy it. Xbox One S all digital. That's absolutely comical. Coon, you said you wonder how third party are going to support PSVR next generation. They're going to be there. Matter of fact, I think it's going to be more third party getting involved in VR next generation than they will this generation, because I think Sony's going to have the hardware that will be able to handle what they want to design. We know Ubisoft is going to be there because they got 3 VR games out with Space Junkies, Eagle Flight, and Star Trek Bridge Crew. So we know, I would like to think moving forward into the next generation, Ubisoft is going to be on board with VR. We know Bethesda is going to be on board with VR because they're double dipping. I said it before. They hit you twice with Skyrim. They charged you $60 when the game first came out for the flat screen version of the game. The game is older than dirt now, and they still charging $30 for it, and then they charging $60 for the VR version of that game. They hitting you twice. They double dipping. They did it with Doom. They did it with Doom, and they did it with Fallout 4. They came out with a flat screen version of the game, and then they hit you again with the VR version of the game. So we know for a fact Bethesda is going to be on board with VR next generation. In fact, they got a VR game coming out this summer. I think a Wolfenstein game for VR that's built from the ground up for VR. Tony Briscoe, you're a cool dude, man. You remind me of how I'm going to be when I get your age. Hey, I really appreciate that. I'm older than dirt, but I really appreciate that. In fact, let me see. My birthday's coming up here in a couple of weeks. I'll be 52 in a couple of weeks. Uncompetitive. Microsoft have come out with an Xbox One SAD with pass written all over it. They should. But yeah, there's going to be third-party support. 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 There's going to be third-party for VR next generation. In fact, I think with the PS5, I think it's going to make it again. It's going to make it easier for third parties to get on board because now they can make VR games for the PC with pretty much, I would like to think, no limitations. And then when they make the PlayStation version of the VR game, I would like to think with the rumored power of the PS5, they won't have to water the game down. It'd just be a matter of them converting the game over to the PlayStation VR format. So I expect a lot. Red Ranger, are you buying Halo Infinite day one? I think a better question, I think what you mean to ask me is, am I going to rent Halo Infinite day one, being that this is supposed to be a service-based game? But the answer is no. Because as I said, because of me jumping over to VR pretty much full time, the only flat screen games that I'm interested in are the Sony exclusives. I have MLB The Show. I'm going to get day one. I'm going to get Days Gone. I'm going to get that day one. Eventually, I will get Dreams and Concrete Genie for their VR support. And then the other heavy hitters coming from Sony, the Death Stranding and all that other good stuff, I'm going to get those day one. So bottom line is, I'm not buying shit from Microsoft. They don't have any compelling exclusives. Any Microsoft exclusives, if I have them, it will be by way of game share because my son wanted it. Like Gears 5. I have no interest in Gears 5, but my son wants it. But so because I'll be buying it for him, naturally, because of game sharing, I will have it as well. I have no intentions of playing it, though. I plan on just watching my son play the campaign. Said Game Passing, that shit day one on my PC. And Mod Razi, you said where are the AR Microsoft demos years ago? I'd like to know. That's a good question. And I don't get how Microsoft is invested in AR, when that shit costs thousands of dollars. But the way they would have had this partnership set up with Oculus, I don't think it would have cost. I think it only would have cost them pennies on the dollar. The headset was already there. Being that they were going to partner with Microsoft with Oculus, they wouldn't have had to make a headset. They probably wouldn't have had to provide any games because Oculus probably would have brought their library over to the Xbox. So Microsoft wouldn't have had to make any games. All they would have had to do was just sit back and collect the money from the partnership. Tony Briscoe said, I'm all good, man. I'm 32. Don't look like it, but I'll be a gamer till I die or can't play no more. But you seem like someone I could have a convo with about games, but love the channel. Keep it up, my bro. Hey, Tony Briscoe, I really appreciate it. And I'll tell you, man, I've been gaming. I'm 52. I've been gaming since I think since I was about 9-10 years old. I've said that before. I told that story before. I think in 1977, my parents bought us our first video game console. It was a Telstar with Pong and all that shit that had the white hash mark and the white dot going across the screen. That was Pong. And the thing about that was I played that shit for hours. I was like, that was the second coming of Jesus for me. No, Mod Razi. I know about augmented reality, but what I'm saying is that Microsoft is invested in augmented reality, and that shit is expensive. And I don't get why they didn't follow through with their partnership with Oculus, because that's how they were supposed to deliver high fidelity VR to us. When they said back in 2016, they said they were going to deliver high fidelity VR and they were going to partner with Oculus. And I can honestly believe that if they would have followed through with that, they would have delivered high fidelity VR, because the Oculus Rift headset is a good headset, and then you would have had a console in the Xbox One X that is more powerful than the PlayStation Pro. So I honestly believe that if Microsoft would have followed through with it, they would have had the better looking VR games. In fact, they probably could have stole some of Sony's business, because they could have used that as their marketing campaign, as our games are not blurry. Our games are high fidelity. Our games are cleaner. There's no blur in the background. It doesn't look like somebody wiped petroleum jelly all over the screen. They could have took some of Sony's business in my eyes if they would have followed through with that VR. They could have had a big chunk of that $2 billion that Sony made. But no, it wasn't drug money. You know, the shit didn't fall right on their front porch after 6 hours, so they didn't follow through with it. No, Madrazi, the deal was already in place. Phil Spencer said it right on that stage at E3 2016. They said they were going to deliver high fidelity VR and that they had partnered with Oculus. I mean, now it'd probably be tough to do it now that Facebook owns Oculus, but I'm talking back in 2016. Why would you say that you partnered with somebody if it hadn't been done yet? So that tells me that everything was already in place for them to do it. I don't know how they were going to go about doing it. I don't know if there was VR technology baked into the Xbox One X or if it was going to have a processor box like the PlayStation VR, but something was in place, but they didn't follow through on it. Kuhn, you said, I wonder if Sony will make a Killzone VR. That was a big question. That actually, I was speculating that about 4, 5, 6 months ago when rumor had it, when it was revealed that people from the Rainbow Six team had came over to Guerrilla Games and they were working on some kind of first-person shooter game or some shit like that. That's the first thing that hit my head was they might be working on another Killzone game. And we could possibly see it in VR because the PS5 hardware would be able to handle it. I would like to think. You said VR is part of the mind control agenda. Reasons why I don't support it. I don't know where you came to that. I don't know how you came to that determination. VR is an escape to me. You know, but gaming in general is an escape. I mean, gaming in general, if you feel that way about it, gaming in general, it, you know, is a control agenda. All these companies, like Six said, you know, like we ain't shit to them. They don't care about us. I said before, to these companies, we just cattle to them. Microsoft and Sony been fighting over us for years. Now Google want to jump into that. They already got their minds made up that the money is there. All the cows is out there. I just got to find a way to bring them into my pasture. I got to find a way to, you know, get them all. I got to find a way to take the ones that Sony got, and I got to find a way to make sure Google don't get in and take any of the ones that I've got. But for the most part, we cattle to them. Psychological warfare? No, I don't see VR as psychological warfare. I see it as another form of entertainment. And I thoroughly enjoy it. We're all slaves to the United Nations. I don't get how psychological warfare, a control agenda through VR, and slavery to the United Nations. I don't get how all that connects. And in mirrors, you hit it right there on the head. I support Sony because they support gaming. Microsoft supports money. Right there on the head. Hit it right on the head. So, Kuhn, you said, give me Silent Hill VR made in the Fox engine. See right there, Kuhn, you just said it right there yourself, man. Even if you're not really down with VR, you just said it right there. Every one of us has this one game. I'm willing to bet everybody in here has this one game that if they came out in VR, they have this one game that's their favorite game. If it came out in VR, they would buy it. Now, I mean, you just confirmed that right there, Kuhn. I don't know if you have a VR or not, but if you don't have one, you just confirmed that you would get one if you could get Silent Hill in VR. Yeah, Red Ranger. Now you're going way off the tracks. Now the Federal Reserve has been robbing us since 1913. We've been getting robbed ever since there was a thing as a U.S. government. So I don't know what the Federal Reserve is doing to, doing to us that the government isn't already doing to us. So you're going way off the tracks, man. Close this. Oh. Anyway, I'll leave you to your conspiracy theories, but yeah, you're going way off the tracks. This we talking gaming, not conspiracies. Especially some shit from over 100 years ago. Coon, you said I'm waiting, but PSVR is something that I'm looking into. See, right? I mean, right there, that's proof. Even people who have said that I'm not into VR, people are saying I'm waiting for the right game to come along. I'm waiting for the technology to advance. I'm waiting for wireless headsets to come along. So it's been more. I've been hearing more reasons why people are not going to get one at the moment versus them saying, no, I'm not getting one. I'm just not into VR. So that's proof that it's growing. There's a lot of people in VR, and there's people on the horizon that's waiting to get into it. Yeah, little Tussin. I'm at that point, man. I'm just going to go ahead and leave him to his conspiracy theories. What do we got here? Oh, now we got both Review Tech USA and Next Gen 720 saying that the PS4 will cost $400. I will say that, though. Carlos Fernandez, when you consume shrooms, you hallucinate. Made up theories, fantasy low count of brain cells. Yeah, that sounds about right. Hey, but with this recent shit coming out that the PS5 is rumored to be going to be $400, that is going to be a slam dunk. If they price with this rumored amount of power that the PS5 is going to have, if they sell it at $400, that is going to put a tremendous amount of pressure on Microsoft. The money that they would lose, because Microsoft ain't going to sell a lot of these consoles. Let's face it, because they don't have the content to make the console an attractive option. Not only that, you give people an option to play these games on PC. Like me, I just dropped $2,000 on an Alienware computer. Why the fuck would I go buy an Xbox One X now? It would be a $500 paperweight because the shit would never get used. Hell, I got a $250 paperweight in my bedroom, and it's called the Xbox One S. Is that Big Cloud also talking to PS5 400? See, that's rumors is flying all over the place. See, but I mean, Sony does know that if they sell that shit for $400, they will probably be taking a big hit, but it would give them a huge advantage over Microsoft. And I think they would, get into the black. more sooner than later because these consoles are going to fly off the shelf. At $400, it's a given that they're going to sell a fuckload of these PS5 consoles. The question is, to me, at launch, will Sony create a false shortage in order to drive up demand? You said the 1S. Now that was low, Lincoln. Yeah. I have a $400 paper. I have a $250 paperweight in my room. And I've said that on Twitter. And it actually got a lot of likes. I've said on Twitter, now that I've pretty much made the move to VR full time, the Xbox One S has proven to be the biggest waste of money that I have ever separated from. A little tussin PS5 at $400 would be out in a they would be out of stock mode for a while, probably like the Switch or worse. I think the thing with the Switch though, because the Switch was met with a lot of skepticism. The media was saying that they think this shit was going to fail. And Nintendo is known for creating false shortages. So when the Nintendo Switch was very hard to get, I think I wouldn't be surprised if that would have been Nintendo holding back, saying we don't have any more, driving up demand. Sony's been known to do that too. That's why I didn't like them during the PS2 generation. I didn't, because I felt like they created a false shortage with the PS2. Now, in the case of the PS5, I think what they will probably do is make them trickle out rather than create a false shortage with the PS5. I think they're going to let them trickle out. They'll sell out, but then they'll get, retailers will get some more a couple of days later. We'll get two or three more after a couple of days, that kind of stuff. So Saris is great. We don't know how little those AMD chips and Navi Flash HDs are costing Sony by the bulk. They may have gotten a killer deal. I would like to think so, because I think with AMD, if I'm not mistaken, I think with AMD, Sony sent some people over there to help them develop the chip that's going to the processor that's going to be in the PS5. Not only that, it had been rumored that Sony could subsidize the PS4 costing $400, through the money that they were making through PlayStation Now. Sport gaming. Sony sold the PS4 at a profit this gen compared to the PS3 last gen, so it's possible the PS4 could be $400 without taking a big hit. Hey, but again, to me, they might have two areas where they could subsidize the money with PlayStation Now, and and with the PlayStation VR. They made $2 billion so far. Players United. You said if lots of one product is sold, it can create a shortage because they have to get more of that product produced. I don't doubt that. Okay, so let me put it to you this way. With the Nintendo Switch, I think it did get off to a slow start. No thanks to the media, because of the because how they were saying is Nintendo was taking a big gamble, and they were thinking that the Nintendo Switch might fail. So I think the Nintendo Switch got off to a slow start. So I think if the Nintendo Switch was hard to get, that could have been Nintendo creating a false shortage. In the case of the PS4, it jumped right out of the blocks like hotcakes. A $500 Xbox, a $400 PS4 with more power. I mean, the PS4 jumped right out of the blocks. So if Sony had a shortage with the PS4, I believe that was real. So I'm in agreement with you. I'm in agreement with you, Little Tussin. I'm ignoring them, but I really don't want to have to put my hand on the block button, but I mean, I'm letting him say what he's saying. As you guys been hearing, my phone has just been absolutely cooking, basically from Twitter. What do we got though? All right. Anyway, I'm gonna get on out of here. I definitely enjoyed you guys keeping the conversation going, because after I covered those two topics, I was pretty much done talking. But you guys kept the conversation going, and made it a pretty good podcast. I appreciate it. So, yep, we'll catch you later, Cyber Dragon Coon. We'll catch y'all later. I appreciate y'all hanging around. And like I said, I'll try to slip something in before we get to the round table tonight. I'll try to play something. Um, with that being said, you guys know the drill. Give it a like, share, comment, all that kind of good stuff. And we'll see you in a little while. Y'all take it easy.